Hello, today for review I've got HiBy's true wireless model WH3. I use them for quite a long time and I'm still impressed by the amount of technologies they've put in this true wireless model. Of course, it's something you can expect from HiBy because it's a company that is famous as a creator of popular software player, as creator of firmware for many other company players, and of course recently they are actively developing their own device lineup, lot of good DAPs, Bluetooth receiver, some earphones and so on. So of course they couldn't release just regular true wireless model, and they didn't do that. So WH3 is packed with technologies. It's model that uses Qualcomm's QCC 5121, if I remember index right, Bluetooth chip with advanced DSP Kalimba, and that allows HiBy engineers create unusual thing called digital crossover. Because this model is hybrid, each earpiece has nose balanced armature and dynamic driver, and they separate the signal, so they separate the signal into the higher frequencies for balanced armature and lower frequencies for the dynamic driver in digital domain, and you can actually use the app to control that and shift this point where it happens, so you can adjust the sound. I will cover that a bit later. What else I can say? They are really good in holding the connection, they are powerful, they have built-in equalizer that you can control via the application. So tons of features that you can usually expect only from the famous manufacturers like Apple, Sennheiser, Sony and so on. But HiBy also delivered really good model. Price, of course, it's on the higher side, it's $160, but actually sales on the 11th of November are coming, so probably they will have some discounts, but it's just my assumption. Anyway, let's have a closer look. As you can see, box is simple, minimalistic, just plain white cardboard with their motto "Make music more musical" and brief information. Inside, buyer will get the case with earphones, and as usual underneath goes the accessory set, so additional tips and USB cable and cleaning tool. So 3 pair of tips, cable, basic accessory set, but probably it's viable for this device. So here it is. As you can see, even by the label, it supports NFC for fast connection. Also it supports key wireless charging, USB Type-C used here to charge the case, and actually it supports fast charging. Full charge of the case took about 1 hour. Speaking about work time, it could be up to 6 hours for a single charge for earphones themselves, but usually I've got about 4 hours or so. It depends on wireless codecs used here, because they support SBC, AAC, aptX, and also HiBy's own UAC codec for the for high resolution wireless streaming. Maybe under some conditions it could be 6 hours, but usually I got about 4 hours, but still a good figure, and additionally up to 4 charges in case, so I think it's pretty nice. It opens this way. Of course there are magnets, as you can expect, 4 LED indicators to show the current charge, pairing button, and earpieces themselves, made of nice white plastic. They have traditional shape with extended rods, probably to move microphones closer to your mouth. So I will do the microphone test to figure out how it helped. Here are LED indicators, charging connectors, Earpieces themselves have traditional shape, fitting nicely probably into vast majority of ears, so won't be issues here. Metal spouts with good lip for holding the tips, with protective grill, so build quality is nice, they are attractive. Of course, as you can see, tips here used with shorter stems, so it's I think there could be used something like SpinFits 360 created for the true wireless model. And here is a sensor panel, so you can use it to for the controls, so and you can redefine the controls in the application, so we'll show it also. Connection quality is nice, up to 10 meters without big issues. I got disconnects only when there are a lot of interference outside, and also they have a pretty low delay, so it's a good news for those who like video actually. I managed to spot slight delay in the test video, but in regular videos I don't have any issues with that. Anyway, nicely built, good working, nicely looking, and so on. And here is the control application. I will use HiBy's R8 as a transport because I have them at my hand. So here it is. As you can see, it has convenient interface. On the upper side it shows the name of the connected device, then codec used, then resolution, connection quality, and battery status for the left and right earpiece. Also here in the advanced menu you can see the name of the device, user guide, or information about the application. So also here is equalizer, you can activate it and use for some settings. It's 10 bands equalizer. So operations for the double click on the left and right earpiece, you can select volume up, volume down, noise, action, so you can select what to do. And for triple clicks you can see on that it use it for track navigation in the default settings. And here is a digital crossover, so you can select, you can move it to the dynamic or to the balanced sound. So you can move it left to right and select where it cut, and you can confirm that. Also you can activate True Wireless Plus mode, and if you have some device that has Snapdragon 845 or newer, you can use True Wireless Plus, and it means that device will transmit the music to both earpieces simultaneously. And also it can be used to upgrade the firmware. I've done it recently, and actually recently it just added this equalizer. So as you can see, HiBy improves the earphones by adding new features and updating the firmware. And here is a traditional microphone test. I'm recording this part with HiBy WH3 in my ears, so it's how they will sound in a real environment. I won't apply any gain correction or other compensation to this record, so it probably can give some idea of the microphone. And of course about the sound, probably the first thing I must admit that they are pretty loud. They go far beyond my comfortable limit, so I rarely do some tests, but cranking volume here above 80 I got pretty loud sound, and somewhere at 90 it became really uncomfortable. So if for those who like to devastate own hearing, it could be a decent option. I'm not sure are they among the loudest ones or not, because I'm trying to keep volume as low as possible, and well, not as low as possible, but close to average. So, and I really recommend it to everyone. In terms of tuning, it's a bit V-shape tuning with a slight hint of warmth, and you know, it's actually fitting the HiBy house sound, because they prefer sound with a bit warmer signature but with not overemphasized low frequencies. And here you can tweak their sound. You can basically move this lower part of V using this digital crossover feature. For me, the most comfortable setting is about 6 kHz. I'm getting the most satisfying sound. Of course, you can try some each positions, like move it to 40 Hz or to 19 kHz, but actually both options are not quite good, but it's probably expecting. And actually I'm not sure why they made this slider, because they could just make like 5 or 7 presets with different positions, and I think it would be sufficient enough, because for me a normal level of adjustment is somewhere between 2K and up to 10K. But of course you can experiment with wider range, but for me it's that normal level, and probably the best spot is about 6K. That's for me, and that's the settings that I will do the sound description in this video. So low frequencies are a bit emphasized, a bit accented, but not too much. So HiBy rarely overdo low frequencies. It's just, you know, reasonable accent to add more weight, to make sound more solid, more weighty with good body, but not overdo it. So I can't call this model bass heavy, because bass here is pretty technical. Of course, it's still not balanced armature, it's just a dynamic driver, and it's a wireless model, so don't expect like wired mode performance, but still resolution is pretty nice, control is really good, and lows here have good impact, good weight, so pretty pleasantly sounding, at least to my taste. Of course, you will need to find the properly fitting tips to get the most of low frequencies, but it's true for every single model. And these earphones will reward you. They sounding pretty natural, and they are good with both real instruments as both with electronic music. Once again, I will highlight that it's not bass head model, but to my taste it's fitting electronic music pretty nicely, thanks to good depth and nice impact. And also, of course, you can tweak it with digital crossover, so for the real instruments you can move it more to the balanced armature sound. For some electronic or pop music you can make it more dynamic driver. So, and it's, you know, it's really a fun experience in terms of understanding how do things work here, because you're not changing the amount of low frequencies, you just moving this crossover cut point, but at the same time moving it to right, so giving more space to dynamic driver gives more weighty perception of low frequencies, and moving to the left you get more balanced armature, and balanced armature like compensates the dynamic driver part of lows, and you can tweak it. And also you will get equalizer, so you can adjust it even further if you need. But anyway, nice dynamic driver sound with normal resolution and good impact, but of course not focused on the micro details, and also not overdone. And as an example, I got Juno Reactor, Siberian, the group that I like, and of course here you will get punchy deep bass and nice electronic effects, and these earphones suiting this music pretty nicely. But of course I must always add to my taste, because tastes are different. Many people will prefer more low frequencies, for example, or something else. Mids are a bit recessed comparing with lows and treble, but not too much, and they have normal resolution. They are fairly balanced, a bit shifted towards warmer side, not making focus on the micro detalization, and probably it's a smart move, because, you know, wireless model have to deal with this wireless codecs compression, lossy compression, and also wireless models will be often used with some streaming media, with YouTube and other sources with not perfect quality of records. So making something focused on the micro contrast in the true wireless mode won't be a smart idea for manufacturer, because it will just highlight all the artifacts of compression, poor mastering, and so on. So this model is pretty forgiving in this aspect, and the bit adding more weight, meaning more full-bodied male vocals with good-bodied instruments. And actually for female vocals you can just shift this digital crossover and balanced armature will do it part. So pretty smart move from HiBy to leverage the stronger part of both driver types, so you can adjust that. And also I need to say that it's smart idea that you don't have to toggle some switches to screw some filters. You just moving the slider in the application, and actually in real time, almost in real time, because there is a slight delay, but you just moving slider and like in half a second you can hear what it gives. You can fast adjust that and got the perfect value for you. Nice way of adjustment. Imaginary stage is slightly above average, both in width and in depth, and it's a good result for the true wireless model. I suspect that here could be used some DSP magic, but it's just my assumption. I'm not sure here, but anyway, results in terms of staging and three-dimensional positioning is pretty nice. And as an example for the mid frequencies, I got Jethro Tull's Locomotive Breeze. Nice emotional thing with good guitar, drum and bass line that mimics locomotive movement, and add here nice keyboard intro, emotional vocal, and you will get the idea that you'll need earphones with normal resolution and emotional representation, and this model definitely delivers that. And treble here is played by balanced armature in normal settings. If you don't like treble, you can just move this digital crossover slider to the right, and you will mute treble pretty noticeably, just getting the dynamic driver sound with not much treble. Or you can highlight them a bit more moving to left. So, but in my sweet spot, about 6K, in my preferred position, it's a nice balanced armature treble, and actually it was a smart move from the HiBy, because balanced armature, especially a good one from Knowles, means nice crisp, clean resolution. Of course, don't expect wired performance still, I must unfortunately say that. Anyway, Bluetooth technologies are not here where we can still compare them fully with wired models, but anyway, treble extension is normal, slightly above average, and resolution is okay. Nice attacks and decays, very basic layering, but good overtone saturation, but still it's HiBy's choice. They make them a bit less noticeable comparing with mids and lows, because they just don't like to make treble really bright. So pretty comfortable treble, but you can change the amount, and also now you can tweak them with equalizer. And as an example, I've got a really complicated piece of music. I rarely use it with wireless models, so it's a sign that they are pretty nice. It's Amber Rubarth, Darkest Dark, Brightest Bright, and if I remember right, it's binaural record by Chesky Records, and it's basically all about voice and guitar, nicely recorded, sounding pretty realistic. Of course, for such tracks you will need something like from $500 and something wired, but this model sounding normal with this track. Of course, you will lack a bit of layering, you will lack a bit of realism in treble area, but still sounding pretty normal. So once again, it's a bit warmer V-shaped signature for the implemented in these earphones, but resolution is still pretty good and they're not overdone in terms of warmth. It's not like that cotton in your ear warmth. It's just a hint of warmth, hint of added weight. So nice tuned for mass market and actually not for mass market too. Speaking about the comparisons, of course, models in the below $100 range are not coming close here. It could be compared only with stronger competitors, and in this price range there are two models that I've tested, Mi for 07 and Noble Falcon. Both that two models are more linear with a bit of with less added warmth and a bit brighter sounding. Actually, Falcon is more bright and Mifo is less bright, but still both are brighter than this model. And of course they're liking these tuning options, equalizer and so on. And actually, if I remember right, now on Amazon for about that price you can get Sony's WX3. If I don't mistaking them with WH, but if I remember right, WH is full size and WX is true wireless model. And actually Sony sounding a bit more digital. They are a bit more engaging and a bit more emotional, but it's the digital signal processing. And especially it's noticeable in the treble area, firstly because Sony supports only SBC and AAC, if I remember right. And of course no UAT and even aptX codec, but I'm not sure here, but probably I am right. And also here balanced armature plays noticeable role, so bit better treble representation, bit more natural. But of course Sony has better battery lifetime a little bit, and also they have active noise cancelling, so that's it. And compare it with Apple's EarPods non-pro version, won't be honest, because EarPods are earbuds and not in-ear monitors, and I avoid usually comparing models of different form factors because for me they sounding really different. But of course here you will get more resolution and more settings. And actually Sennheiser and AirPods Pro are a bit better, but not much, but still a bit more natural, at least to my ears. But they are also much noticeably more expensive. So let's summarize it. HiBy created really interesting model with a lot of tweaking options, with good sound. They're not trying to be audiophilic, it's more mass market tuning, but I think that it's a wise choice, and still they can satisfy audiophiles looking some fun signature. So keep an eye, maybe they will have a good deals on 11s, but even without that it's a really interesting model. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a nice day.